Okay, we are back. We let it sit for 20 minutes. I was going to come back every 5, but we just came back in 20 minutes. So now we're on step 6. After about 20 minutes, use a pair of tongs, lift the nails out one at a time from the solution. Use distilled water from a wash bottle to rinse off the copper from the nails into the same beaker as the solution. Then set the nails aside on a paper towel. So that's what we're going to do right now. So one at a time, and maybe I should bring this up so you can see the nails look like they've got bigger, and you can see a bunch of stuff that's been forming on them. So I'm going to take them out and gently rinse them with some distilled water, one at a time. And maybe even there you can see a little bit better look of all that copper that's on there. So now I'm going to rinse this off. My water bottle is grab another water bottle. All right. Now I have the correct water bottle. I'm going to pick it up and spray, and then you can see that I'm just really knocking off the stuff that formed on there, trying to do as best job as I can. Maybe even rinse it a little bit there, and then I'm going to set the nail down and a little bit more there, trying to get the best results I can, so get it all off there. Grab the second nail and do the same thing, rinsing it off as best as possible. Grab it from the other spot so I can get the rest of that copper off. Now we should know that this stuff is the copper by our balanced chemical reaction. All right. Okay. So we've just finished step 7. When the nails have completely dried, we can place them on the balance and measure their mass and record our data. So what I'm going to do real lightly is get the paper towel and dry them off as nice as possible. Try not to use sandpaper, obviously, because that would take some of the stuff off. So I'm going to dry them as best as possible. I don't need to let them dry because we should just get them. So that one's nice and dry. I'll put that on the balance. And then I'll get the other one. Get that one also nice and dry. Now, you can see there the mass. And that mass has changed from before. So make sure you write it down. 2.22 right there. So now, if you're following along, we are now at step 9. And step 9 says, carefully decant the liquid from the beaker from the solid. Decant means only pour off the liquid stuff into another beaker. And we do that in case you spill. So I'm going to show that technique right here. So I have my other beaker. And all I'm going to do, and the copper is pretty heavy, so it's laying on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is just pour this into here, and you can hopefully see, I'll try to move my hand, you can see all the solid stuff is staying there. Now this one works pretty well because copper is pretty heavy. So we're just doing this, and you can see that the solution down there is blue, and it does tell us to do this about 4 or 5 times, so I'm going to do that a couple times here. refill it with some distilled water. This again, what we're doing here is trying to get all that solution out and just have the copper. So I sprayed it in there. Now I'm going to be nice and easy. Maybe wait just a second to let that copper settle again. And then, again, being careful. Decant. And it says about 25 mils, but I'm just gonna get a good swill. That's at about, it doesn't have to be exact. And for the sake of this video, I'm gonna just do it one more time. It says 4 to 5, but 3 is probably a decent number. So here we go, gonna decant. And again, the water is getting clearer. The more we decant, the more it gets clear. So, and let's do this one last time. All right, so let's let it sit just for a second. And decant. All right, so again, we use this other beaker just in case we would have dumped some stuff in here. We could get it out from there, but it's pretty clean. There's not much copper in there. So now we have done that. We are on just finished step 10. Step 11, get a piece of filter paper and record its mass. So let's do that. I'm going to remove my nails. And we're gonna reset the balance. And we'll mass our filter paper. In this case, you can see that the filter paper is 1.15 grams. Make sure you have that written down. Now, we are going to do the final rinse. We are going to put it in filter it out. So it says after the final rinsing with water, put a piece of filter paper in the funnel, the one that you did or masked out. Use the water bottle to help transfer the copper. Then it says place the filter paper with the copper on a paper towel to dry overnight. We've already dried the nails, so we don't need to do that. So again, to remind us how to use this, good lab technique. We fold like a taco. Then we fold like a quarter piece of pizza. Then we go to the front and 3 on one side, 1 on the other, and it makes like a little snow cone. I'm gonna set that in there, and it doesn't stick very well. And to help that to stick, I'm gonna spray a little distilled water in there. That will create some surface tension and get it to stick. So now I'm going to set my filter paper up, and I'm going to use this same beaker just in case I spill a little bit. And I'm going to get some water, kind of like what we did before, some distilled water in there. And I want all this to go into the filter. So I'm going to use what I call, very scientific term, the swirl and dump technique. Because if you just pour, you're not going to get any of the solid out. So I'm going to swirl and pour or dump really quick. Now you can see that there are still some of that copper there, but not very much. And then now this technique would be to just hold it up and you can spray in there and the rest of that copper should come down. As you can see here, that's pretty clean. So the last step again is we are going to let this filter, then take it out, let it dry at least overnight, and then we'll get the mass of the copper. So we'll come back to get the mass of the copper.